A weapon in his hands.
And he shot both people sitting in a car right by this tree.
What did Satan look like as he instructed them to kill?
Apparently he's supposedly hearing voices from the dog that he claimed was talking to him and sending devil-like messages to him.
Throughout time, Satan has been used as an excuse for some of the most chilling events in world history.
Many notorious individuals have cited satanic influence as being a factor what led to their crimes. I might bring up Adolf Hitler. I might point out that every time there's a murder or a suicide in a hotel room, there's a copy of the Gideon Bible, but no one ever lays claim that it was a Christian crime.
But some people believe that the devil has driven them to commit horrifying crimes. One of the most infamous of these in modern times is Nico, the self-styled vampire of Paris.
I have an attraction to dead bodies, which is not sexual. It's purely aesthetic. I like the way they look, and I like the texture of the skin.
Nico's trail of grave robbing, acts of cannibalism and satanic rituals led him to the ultimate sacrifice. In 1994, he killed a man. He was imprisoned for 8 years. Now released, he feels no remorse and has no regrets about killing for Satan. Nico's obsession with evil began in his formative years. He became fascinated with Satan and explored his own darker side amongst the tombs and Gothic cemeteries of Paris.
I have opened coffins there while I was there. And I have unearthed remains.
When I was in the cemetery, I felt closer to Satan and to my inner self, my inner world, because this was my territory.
Conduct rituals down there, and I would sometimes steal human bones.
Eventually, Nico found a job that enabled him to indulge his urges.
When I started to work in the morgue and I started to attend autopsies, I was in contact with raw human meat, so sometimes I would swallow meat from the person. Then after I would sometimes bring it home and cook it. There is a belief in certain satanic cults that cannibalism is a communion with the devil, and this is the way I spiritualized the things that I did.
With cannibalism, you might think it's completely deranged activity, but it does have a clear history, particularly amongst very primitive times. It's a power-seeking thing, and to eat the flesh of another person, you want the power of that person, you're absorbing the power of that person, and therefore becoming a more powerful being yourself.
I do believe in God and I do believe in the devil. It's as simple as that. When I die, it is my belief that I will go straight to hell, and I will sit on the left side of Satan with other people of my kind. And I do think it is better to reign in hell than to be a slave in paradise. People should be aware that the devil is inside them. The thing is to either accept it or deny it.
But it was in 1994 that Nico made his ultimate sacrifice to the devil. He switched from cannibalism to murder.
There was always in my mind the thought of taking lives and feeling from the energy that was released when you kill a human being. When I couldn't control myself anymore, then this is what happened. I killed someone. I had bought the gunbow and I had planned it a long time before. Why this day, I don't know. Why that special day, why this special person, there is absolutely no answer to that. I shot a man in the eye, then I shot him several times again in the back of the skull and in the heart. It lasted 30 minutes maybe. That was the ultimate experience for me, taking a life and feeding from the life. It was like cannibalizing a soul and giving it to my Lord. There is so many different representations. The one I feel more close to is the image of Pazuzu, the Assyrian demon, which I have tattooed on my wrist here. So Pazuzu is my demon.
Nico Klaus believes Pazuzu to be the original demon. Pazuzu has the body of a man, but the head of a lion or dog, talons instead of feet, 2 pairs of wings, and the tail of a scorpion. Could this be the true face of Satan? 8 years in prison has done nothing to change Nico's views on right and wrong.
Most psychologists I have met agree on one point, it's that I do not suffer from a psychosis, which means that I am legally sane. It was my choice to do the things that I did. Some might say that I am the devil, but I'm not. I'm just a weapon in his hands.
In the terms of heinous acts of criminals, in a contemporary sense, the use of the devil just simply follows on from the idea that you make excuses. You need a scapegoat. This idea that it is not me, it's some evil force that made me do it.
If Pazuzu is the devil for Nico Klaus, for serial killer David Berkovich, the face of the devil looked very different. In New York in the 1970s, he slayed 6 people and wounded many others during a spree of killing and violence. Berkovich also claimed that he wasn't responsible for his actions. Like Nico Klaus, Berkovich insisted that the devil made him do it.
He said he was directed by the devil. The devil told him when to kill and who to kill.
Berkovich was known and feared as the Son of Sam.
Berkowitz called himself the Son of Sam because his neighbor had a dog. His neighbor's name was Sam Carr. The dog was, in Berkowitz's mind, at least what he told me when I interviewed him, was the messenger of the devil, which told Berkowitz when to go out and kill young women.
At the time, Berkovich was living in an apartment block in Pine Street, New York.
David Berkowitz lived in the back far corner of the building, and if you look down, you would see a street that Sam Carr's house was on. Apparently, he's supposedly hearing voices from the dog that he claimed was talking to him and sending devil-like messages to him.
And the howling came to be a signal to him that it was time for him to leave his apartment and go out into the streets and prowl.
It seemed to be that Berkowitz would travel around the 5 boroughs in New York City and go into so-called lovers' lanes and find couples that were hanging around by themselves in a quiet area, would walk up to them, pull out a .44 and basically shoot.
Detective Joseph Coffey clearly remembers the early hours of the 26th of June, 1977. He was the first on the scene after the shooting of Sal Lupo and Sal's girlfriend, Judy Placido.
It was a very hot summer night that night. This was the Elephants discotheque, which was frequented by young people. And that particular night, 2 people came out and sat in the car for a liaison, snorting cocaine and making out. And along came Berkowitz, who was unidentified at the time, the Son of Sam. And he shot both people sitting in the car right by this tree. Chaos ensued. Nobody had life-threatening injuries. The male member of this couple ran back into the disco for help. By this time, we had responded. I got a radio transmission saying, shots fired, 211th Street, Northern Boulevard.
The killings were all done virtually the identical way. Young couples, or in one case 2 girls, were sought out and shot. He emptied the gun into them and then left.
I think at the time that these events took place, he felt that he was an instrumentality of a greater power.
My recollection is that he knew he was looking, that he was sent out